Hi and welcome back again. This is gonna be a test video using the video editor CapCut to see what I can do with this video editor. However, just because this video is a test doesn't mean that whatever I'm saying in said video isn't true. It will be true to an extent. Because this game I'm gonna be talking about has made the experience of anyone wearing the game's contraband armors, using it normally, very painful to the point you would rarely see said contraband armor kits in normal gameplay. The game, as you saw in the thumbnail, is Blackout Revival, specifically the Killzone game mode, which is a looter shooter that allows you to gain up to 3 contraband armor sets that gives you great protection against any weapons and offers passive abilities to the wearer when fully worn. I'm gonna be talking about the contraband armors first. If you already know or don't care about them, you can skip this section. The first one that was released was the Operator Kit. It can be obtained by doing waves, which is inside bunker. It's the most basic armor set. You can double jump and your fists are stronger in terms of damage and knockback, including heavy attack, which now ragdolls regardless of where you hit. The second armor kit that was released was the Commander Kit, which can be obtained by finishing the task Access Denied from a Broker. This armor set, while not having the double jump capabilities of the Operator, when fully worn, has a drone hovering above you that shoots rockets towards anyone you hit with a gun or a melee, and when 50% and below HP, will make you pop a smoke on your body alongside giving you a short buff of 25% damage resistance and electrifying anyone you hit with any source of damage you can do. And being electrified is a debuff that slows you down and prevents you from jumping, at least what I believe. The third armor kit, and currently the last one so far, is the Blade Dancer Kit, which can be obtained by an NPC in the other tunnel in Scourge through gaining points in the other game mode of Blackout Revival, which is the Final Eclipse. It's a melee based armor set. When fully worn, reduces your inventory space to 5, whereas the Operator's inventory space is 18 and the Commander's is 20. But in return, your fists are changed to do area based tag on heavy attack and a 3-hit teleport combo on lunge for any tagged victims, along with having special interactions with the photon blades, which changes it into the opposite of your fist. Whereas your lunge is going to be your main source of tagging people, and your heavy is going to be the main source of dealing damage towards any tagged people. Well, after speaking about those 3 contraband sets, they sound strong, don't they? With the amount of bullets they can tank, they can surely just tank magazines of rounds and proceed with their slaughter, right? Well, not when these things are around. These weapons I've shown you right now is the reason why you rarely see contraband kits at all in normal gameplay sessions. Hell, they would never show up in a 2-star server at that, and instead resort to farmbotting or counterbotting. So let's talk about the first and overshadowed fun police's way to ruin the fun of contraband kits, the Photon Accelerator. The weapon is a charged sniper rifle that takes roughly 4 to 5 seconds to charge before shooting a beam that can one-shot anyone it hits, which also includes contraband kits. While it's easier for normal players to survive the hit, due to them being down if it hits the torso or arms and legs, as long as the victim's teammates are fast enough, contraband kits, when downed, will start flashing red and explode after a few seconds of being down, making it impossible to survive said weapon even if it hits your leg. This was used near non-stop when it was first released, but is now overshadowed by other options. But just because it's overshadowed doesn't mean that you will not be shot by one the moment you stay outside the map for too long, or is in a small server, and especially in a small server where your chance of getting accelerated increases drastically. The second weapon we will be talking about is the P90, which was released in the first Frosted Frights update. It's, as you expect, the P90 with 50% penetration. Include the fact that some machine guns can be applied with Leviathan Skull rounds that deal moderate damage and electrify the target for like after 10 hits, along with having no cooldown between those 10 hits, and you will understand why some contraband kits like the Blade Dancer or Operator die in under 3 seconds but under P90 fire. If you're in a small room where you can't run around as much or caught off guard, there's little to nothing you can do, especially if the P90 is applied with Leviathan Skull rounds. But in the end, those are two contrabands, and while sometimes it feels like they have infinite number of those contrabands, they will eventually run out of those contraband weapons. But what if they had the option of buying a fairly cheap rifle, a melee, that once hits you with their heavy attack will cause you to suffer a near undodgeable combo that causes you to lose up to 50 or 70% of your HP in an instant.
For the Empire!
Take the pieces! Take the pieces!
We might get killed from the other side. Yo, I got him.
I popped his head! I killed it!
Meet the Great Sword, a weapon so ridiculously frustrating to play against that somehow has the devs saying, yeah, this is completely fine. The heavy attack hitbox is hard to land, which doesn't matter if you're gonna be shooting your gun or still get hit anyways. And if you complain about this melee, you suck and we will threaten to ban you for thinking the server doesn't know the best. The moment you get hit with the heavy attack, you get ragdolled for a solid 2 seconds, which is enough time for the attacker to then hit you with an undodgeable lunge, which in short reduces your health to 50%. Even if you focus your attention to him, then guess what? Time for the other randoms with their P90s and other contraband weapons to reduce your HP to 0, sealing your fate. And the final weapon that I wish to yap about is the Alternator, a weapon which I presume was made specifically for the Operator, since when equipped as an Operator kit will allow your shots to affect people with an effect where if they are close enough to the Operator will explode once the duration ends, damaging themselves and people nearby them. At release it had minimal damage with 10% less penetration than the P90, making it a worse P90 only usable if you were an Operator, until the devs buffed the penetration by 70. While the gun most definitely needed a buff, it only made the experience of Contra kits just more painful, since Operators and Blade Dancers already didn't like getting sprayed to death by some junkie using a P90 with all inhaler effects, and now they have to suffer from scenarios where instead of losing their health gradually before dying, they only lose their health in huge chunks, which usually means dying faster in general. Thankfully, currently, the people using the Alternator have been only able to hit consistent shots at close to semi-medium range so far, but soon enough it will change, so prepare to get potentially beamed from longer ranges, my friend. And that's the 4 weapons that I think really screw over contraband kits. While I think there are other weapons like the RSH, AWM, Deagle, and Rembreaker that can sometimes feel unfair to fight against as well, I don't think they're as bad as the 4 I've talked about in this video. But past that, what was the counters for Contra kits like the Operator and early Commander back then? It was not that bad actually. After a few days of the Operator being released, people use weapons like the crossbow with incendiary bolts, incendiary grenade, rifles like the AK and M4 and SCAR 17 and 20, melees like the bat or sledgehammer, and occasional low tier weapons like the Uzi could get the job done if you caught the Operator off guard. But overall, that's all I have to say about, the contraband weapons and the Great Sword that I think really screws over contraband kits in general. If they were to release the weapons in a different way that didn't screw over Contra kits specifically, or majorly deal huge damage against said contraband kits, then I wouldn't have made this video. Either way, thanks for watching.